Welcome. In this segment, we're taking a look at citations, bibliographic styles, and online citation generators. First off, let's talk about what a citation is. A citation is a record of publication information. A citation should allow someone to get back to the item that you were originally looking at. Where do I find citation information? When you're doing your research and you're in a library catalog or in a journal article database, your citation information should be right on the screen. Sometimes it's labeled and it'll say author, title, publisher, year, and sometimes it's not. And we're going to take a look at different examples to get you through knowing what you should be looking for and then how to cite it. How do you create citations? You would use bibliographic styles. What are bibliographic styles? Bibliographic styles are rules and standards that are in place so that you know how to properly format your citations. There's a number of different kinds of bibliographic styles. For example, MLA, the Modern Language Association, APA, the American Psychological Association, the Chicago style. The list goes on, and what you need to do is you need to ask your professor, if you're doing a research paper, what style you should be using. Also, if you're planning on publishing, you should always check with your journal and find out if they require you to use a certain style. Let's go ahead and talk about how to cite books. This is an example of a book citation in the MLA style, Modern Language Association. All book citations have the same main ingredients: authors, titles, place of publication, publisher, and year. We're going to want to walk through this step by step so you can see how it breaks down. So first off, you need to know your author or your authors. Then you'll need to cite your title of your book. And you'll notice in MLA style, they're underlining the title. Then you need to know your place of publication and your publisher. And finally, your year of publication. And there is your citation. Your author, title, place of publication, publisher, and year for that book. To contrast the MLA style, I'd like to show you what the American Psychological Association does for their books. Instead of underlining, they italicize their title. And they also format the citation just slightly different, using different punctuation, such as parentheses around the years. So again, if we go back and look at MLA style, you'll see they're using underlining, and they have some commas here and some periods. And on APA style, they're doing it differently. They're formatting it differently. However, it's the same ingredients. Just to review again, book citations should always have the author, the title, the place of publication, the publisher, and the year. Let's take a quick look at a library catalog entry so you can see where you would get these items. Here we are at an entry for a library catalog. This is for a title on organic farming. So you'll see in the library catalog that it clearly shows you the title, the author, the place of publication, the publisher, and the year. They're usually all right at the top. Sometimes they are labeled. In this case, they're not. But they're usually all right at the top for you. And this is everything you would need to cite this in your bibliography or to cite this as a footnote. Let's move on and talk about journal articles. We're going to go back to our PowerPoint presentation and talk about how to cite journal articles. All citations for journal articles, again, have the same ingredients, but they're going to be formatted differently depending on what style you choose. For journal articles, you should always have the author or authors, the title of the article, the title of your journal, and any volume, issue numbers, year, and the page numbers for your journal article. Let's go ahead and take a look at an example citation. This is a citation for a journal article. The first thing you need, obviously, is the author. In this case, since there's more than one author, they're putting ETAL period to show that there's more than one author. This example is from the MLA, Modern Language Association style. Again, the first thing is the author or authors. Then you'll need the title of the journal article, the name of your journal, and any journal volume and issue numbers, the year, and your pages. Here you can see the difference between the MLA and the APA styles. Again, they're formatting them slightly different. They're putting things in a little bit different orders. Some are using quotes, some are using parentheses. They're all doing different formats here, but it's all the basic ingredients. Again, your author or authors, your journal article title, the name of your journal, your volume and issue, year, and page numbers. The next thing that you might be citing as you do research are websites. Websites are a little difficult to cite because you don't have an actual entry to look at where you have labeled things. So when you're looking at a website, you have to decide what's your title and what's your author and what's the date that the page was last updated. So you have to do a little bit more of digging. Let's go ahead and we'll look at an example of a website citation. Here's an example of a website citation. Again, this is the MLA Modern Language Association style. The basic ingredients for a website citation: you need an author of a website, you need a title of a website, you need the date the website was last updated, and you need the address or the URL of the website. To show you again in contrast, here's the MLA style and the APA style, and there's a couple of differences here. The big difference here is that the APA style is asking you to put in the date that you actually looked at the site. So as you're looking at web pages doing your research, you're going to want to write down these things. Again, your authors, your title of your web page, the date the page was last updated, the date you were on the page, and of course the URL. Again, when you're doing your citations, you need to think about when a user is looking at your citation, how they can get back to what you were originally at. So you need to give them all of those ingredients so that they can look at that citation and find what you were looking for. Now let's go ahead and we're going to talk about the different styles available to you. I mentioned before that there's a number of bibliographic styles available. These are some examples of the main bibliographic styles: MLA, Modern Language Association, APA, American Psychological Association, and the Chicago Manual of Style. If you go to visit your public or academic library, they most likely have these and many more styles available in book form. So you've got a number of ways you can use these styles. You can go to your library and you can ask them for the bibliographic style in print, and they'll have the book form. You could go to their website and actually use the style online. But there's one more option that you can use that I think is fabulous, and that's called online citation generators. There's a number of online citation generator services right now. These are just a few examples: EasyBib, BibMe, Zotero, and RefWorks. Some of these online citation generators are free, and some of them you do need to pay for. I'd like to talk about how these online citation generators work. So let's go in and we'll actually go in and look at one of these online citation generators. We're going to look at BibMe. BibMe is a free online citation generator. So what this service does for you is, while you're doing your research in your library catalog or your journal article database, you also have BibMe open. So you can come to BibMe and you can say, I'm using this particular style and I would like to cite We're going to try to zoom in just a little bit here. There we go. So when I'm looking at BibMe, again, which is just one of the many examples of online citation generators out there, I can come in here and say that I'm going to enter in information for a book. And what I love about these online citation generators is they give you the templates. So you can say, I'm citing a book, and you can just copy and paste in your information while you're doing your research. And then you can create a bibliography. There's a button to add to bibliography. So you've got your internet sessions open with your library catalog and your journal article databases. And as you're bringing the information up, you're copying and pasting it into your online citation generator. Again, you'd go to one of these online citation generator sites. You would tell it what you're citing. You would copy and paste your information in, and then you would add it to your bibliography. Let's say you don't have your internet sessions open with your research that you're doing. You're just going to start from scratch here. Some of these online citation generators will allow you to come in and go into, say, find a book, and you can actually go out and search for your book. You can click on Find Book, and it will go out and search for the book that you want to cite, and then it will automatically fill the template in for you. You can also do that for the other things like magazine, newspaper, website, journal. So I can click on Find, and it will go out, find the information, and automatically fill it in for me. Again, BibMe is just one of the many examples available out there for online citation generators. Let's go back to our PowerPoint slides for just a moment here. EasyBib and BibMe are two free services. Some services do offer enhanced versions, so you'll have to pay a little more sometimes. But for the most part, if you go on to your internet search tool and search for online citation generator, you're going to find a number of free services that will do this for you. Another great idea is to check with your local library. Most public and academic libraries nowadays have subscriptions to online citation generators. So they probably already have handouts available and guides, and that they can show you how to use these citation generators. So the next time you're doing a research paper, before you get started, you might want to ask what style you need to be using, and you also might want to see if there's an online citation generator that you feel comfortable using. We've covered an awful lot in just our segment today. We've talked about citations, bibliographic styles, and these great online citation generators. That's all for now. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.